Hey Gear Seekers, I'm Nick. Over the many years of me producing music for both the channel and for other projects, I've had my fair share of JBL studio monitors and subwoofers. In fact, our main editing and music production setup is using a new JBL Studio sub. So when JBL reached out and asked if we wanted to take a look at some of their new gaming focused solutions, like this one right here, I had to see if their prowess in audio translates to something that gamers and PC enthusiasts might enjoy. So with that said, JBL sent over this. It's their new set of Quantum 600 wireless headsets for us to check out. And that's exactly what we're gonna do in this video. We're gonna take a look at these. Let's get into it. Preface this video by saying that I've been using these for a little while now just to give these a really good workout to see if they're any good. Also, if you guys are new here, I make all the music on the channel too, and I've been producing music for many years, so I know what good should sound like, if that makes sense. In the box, you get the headset itself, you get a USB Type A to Type C cable for charging, you get a 3.5mm cable for connecting the headset as a wired headset for using things like an Xbox or to your phone, and the 2.4 GHz wireless dongle as well. The build quality is fairly decent and you shouldn't have any issues with durability. I've not experienced anything odd after using these as my main headset for about 2 weeks, so you should be good to go. For someone with a fat head like mine, they're pretty decently proportioned and they're very comfortable to wear for extended periods of time. The ear cups have a leatherette covering and they feel very soft to both the touch and also on your head. The headband is also padded and fully adjustable and decently comfortable. The Quantum 600s have rotating ear cups, which I think should be standard on every single headset designed for gamers. On the left ear cup, there's a boom arm microphone which can be activated and deactivated by either putting the arm up or down position. There's also a USB Type C port for charging the headset, a 3.5mm jack for connecting your headset to a wired device, a status LED, a microphone mute button that can be used instead of folding the boom up, a volume dial which controls the volume of the headset itself, not in Windows or your operating system, a chat mix dial that allows you to adjust the mix between comms and the audio source on the fly, and on the right ear cup, there's nothing except the power switch. All right, let's talk about the numbers and specs to get that stuff out of the way nice and early. All of the sound is pumped to your ear holes via a set of 50mm neodymium dynamic drivers. The 50mm drivers have a frequency response range of 20 Hz to 20 kHz with an impedance of 32 ohms. They have a total weight of 346 grams. The wireless range is approximately 20 meters, which give or take is about what you get in line of sight, but I did test it and it was probably closer to 10 in a house. The microphone has a frequency response of 50 Hz to 18 kHz with a unidirectional pickup pattern. You can decide for yourself if you think this sounds good because obviously I'm talking into it right now. As far as battery life, out of the box, I didn't charge them and they had around 60% of battery life and I used them for about 6 hours before I needed to charge them. The Quantum 600s would take around 2 hours to charge up from dead flat and should give you around 14 hours of playtime if you disable the RGB. Yep, another wireless headset with RGB. We don't need this. This leads me into the next thing. How are they to wear for extended periods of time? Now, they're super light and even for my fat head, like I showed before, they're pretty comfortable and I forgot I was wearing them. I didn't suffer from any fatigue from the sound and overall, it's a pretty pleasant experience using the Quantum 600s. To use the headset, it's pretty straightforward, but this is where the quirks start. You plug the USB dongle into your PC and install the JBL software. Then it proceeds to ask you to restart Windows. Mate, it's not 1999. We don't need to restart Windows to install a driver for a wireless headset. I found that a little bit annoying since when I first connected this headset to my PC, I was busy doing other computery stuff and I had to stop what I was doing to restart. So just get rid of that. You don't need to do that. And while we're talking about the software is actually pretty decent. It's got a pretty gamery aesthetic. The software allows you to change everything on the headset from the EQ settings to dial everything in, the RGB lighting, which just turn it off. You should actually turn it off for better battery life anyway. The spatial sound modes, which I also recommend you don't use, and I'm gonna come back to that a little bit later. The microphone settings like the volume and the side tone. Yes, ladies and gents, the Quantum 600s have side tone. If you know anything about me and headsets, if a gaming headset doesn't have a side tone, I usually just can't recommend it. It also displays the battery level in the app and how the headset is connected. I also test this with the PS5 wirelessly, and the headset works perfectly without any weird quirks, and I didn't have to restart the PS5 to get it to work, so yeah. I always judge headsets with how they sound with music before anything else, because for me, that's my primary use case, and I want to know how they sound with all of that software trickery completely turned off. And a heads up, turn everything off. They sound really natural with all of that software trickery stuff turned on. All right. So how do they actually sound for music? They aren't too bass heavy, and they have enough bottom end for rumbling bass lines and heavy sub kicks. They aren't tinny, but they have enough treble to make your eye holes bleed. The mid-range is nice too, and the default stereo separation is really good, and you can hear everything quite distinctly on the soundstage. Now, they're actually much better than your average wireless headset. They're easily better than the Corsair Virtuosos and pretty close to the Sennheiser GSP 670s in terms of sound reproduction and response. Honestly, these are really, really good for music. I reckon for the regular user who isn't spoiled for choice like I am, they're really gonna have a nice surprise. I just wish they didn't push the whole 7.1 surround sound thing, because without it, they sound even better, even for gaming, which leads me into the next thing. How do they sound for gaming? Now, I've been playing a lot of Cyberpunk and Black Ops Cold War in my spare time, and with these, they're actually pretty good. The positional audio is pretty decent if you use them in stereo mode. The 7.1 mode and the Quantum surround modes are, how can I put this nicely? They're not very interesting at all. It's really, really not that compelling, and all they've done really is added reverb, they've added a bit more stereo separation in the software, and it makes everything sound like it's about 4,000 meters away. I'd highly recommend not using them with the surround modes, because without them, the Quantum 600s fucking slap, Sonny Jim. You heard me right. However, that's just my opinion. The surround sounds might be your cup of tea, but they aren't for me. I feel like the Quantum surround kinda ruins what is otherwise a pretty decent listening experience for both gaming and music. The question is, what don't I like about the JBL Quantum 600s? Now, this might be a deal breaker for most of you who are looking at buying a wireless headset. Ready? Wait for it. This is ridiculous. I can't believe I'm gonna say this. You cannot charge the Quantum 600s while you're using them. That's right, you heard me correctly. If your Quantum 600s die while you're gaming, you cannot charge them while you're playing. Now, JBL claims it's for safety reasons. I guess they think your head might catch fire while they're charging, but that to me is a bit concerning, because it's almost like they don't trust their own headset for them to not explode and catch your head on fire. I don't know. Like I said, that could be a deal breaker for you. For me personally, it's hard to say, because sometimes when my headset runs out of battery, it's a sign for me to stop playing and go to bed. So, you know, it could be a blessing in disguise. The other thing I don't like about the Quantum 600s is the unnecessary inclusion of RGB. It's a wireless headset. You don't need lighting. It's quite literally a waste of battery life, especially when you can't charge these headphones at the same time as you're playing with them, right? So weird. Other than the charging issue and the RGB, there isn't much to dislike about the JBL Quantum 600s. For my fat head, they're very comfortable, the sound they produce isn't fatiguing, and overall, other than a few quirks with having to restart your PC when installing the software, what even is that? I think they're actually pretty good. At least they are if you have all that software trickery turned off. They fucking slap, and they're just shy of being amazing. Now, I'm kind of keen to hear what the Quantum 800s sound like, and I'd like to compare the two of these headsets. I think if you bought the JBL Quantum 600s, you'd probably come to a pretty similar conclusion, like the one that I did. The only issue with doing these videos though is for videos about audio products and headsets, it's really hard to convey how good these sound without actually putting them on your head and listening to them for yourself. Now, if you're new to PC gaming and you don't have a headset and you kind of have the budget for something like this, these Quantum 600s are really good and you will not be disappointed. If you're buying this for a PS5 or a PS4, they're pretty good too. Just don't buy these if you want a wireless Xbox headset. Probably better just to buy those new Xbox ones. Now, if you're interested in grabbing a set of the JBL Quantum 600s, they're going for around 150 US dollars or around 230 Australian dollars at the time of filming. And that's basically it. My conclusion is they're pretty good. They slap. They slap. as I said a couple times in the video. But yeah, that's it. Anyways, guys, if you want to get early access to videos like this one, we're on Floatplane. You like the music you heard here, it's available on Patreon. Once again, thank you so very much for watching. I'm your boy Nick with Gear Seekers. You peek, we seek. And seriously, like, they're actually not too bad. I've seen some conflicting reviews, but they're wrong, basically. These are really good, and they're really comfortable, and I've been using them a lot. So, yeah, if you like wireless headsets, like me, yeah, I would recommend these over the Corsair Virtuosos any day of the week. Thanks for watching.